Malalele, welcome to another episode of Made My Money Tech. Today we're going to get into my tech journey. So, kind of wanted to do a different video today. One that's like not non-technical, more of like a vlog video, but just kind of like how I got into the tech industry, tech field, just to give you guys a better picture of like my background, what I'm doing, purposes for this channel. Is going to be more like a series, so just going to kind of roll out this with the first episode. This is just kind of an intro to who I am and I guess how I got into what I'm doing today, and then also just in the future, just documenting my journey moving forward. So starting from the beginning, we'll just get straight into it. Starting from the beginning, my background, I guess. So I guess I never really had a typical path into the tech industry, but like that's the majority of people that go into the tech industry. It's like rare if you hear some of the like from the get they've always wanted to do this, and even if they get into the tech field, they're not. It's very rare that you'll see someone like go straight into the career path that they actually wanted. I mean, there is people, but at least in my experience, I've seen a lot of people that they didn't have the traditional path of wanting to get into tech, or they made a career switch later on. So starting with my background. So I grew up in the typical Polynesian household, Tongan family. My parents always encouraged us and motivated us to do things we wanted to do in life, like whatever dream we had, chase after those dreams. But for sure, growing up like the tech industry, not that my parents didn't know anything about it, they for sure were like goal-oriented dream. They chased their dreams, but I guess it was a new path. Very, especially early 2000s. That's the era that I kind of grew up in, early 2000s. So yeah, early 2000s tech industry, that was just barely the dot-com boom, and I was like a young kid, so didn't really know anything about that. I always heard about it, but yeah, never was really interested into tech. The only thing tech related back then was like if we got like a PlayStation or Xbox, that was like the cool thing in tech, was gaming devices. But I would say the troubleshooting aspect, the problem solving aspect, I did at a young age. Like I was always tinkering with like fixing the TV or like little issues like that. And I don't think that set me up for going to the tech industry. I kind of like stumbled upon the tech industry later, but those little things kind of like drew my interest. Then in like elementary, that's when they start doing like career assessments of things you could possibly get into. And I felt like my career assessments were kind of bad. Not that I tested bad, but like the results that I got back were kind of like not things that I was like, I don't see myself. Because I remember at a young age, I always wanted to be an astronaut. I don't think that's my goal now, but just like that exploration, advancement in technology, those are the things that really piqued my interest. And yeah, that career assessment, I think it came back with like finances or sales, something like that. Like those are some of the career options that it gave back. But I kind of wanted to get into like engineering. That was like, I'd always watch like History Channel or like Discovery and just see like these amazing feats of engineering that were always displayed on these channels, right? So I always wanted to do something in engineering. That's what always piqued my interest. Then in like high school, that's when they had a career fair, right? They had like people, and then they also had people come in from different careers. I think that was good because it kind of gave me a picture of like what to look forward. And like now that I look back on those things, those little experiences really did pay off in the future. But as like a young kid or teenager, like I didn't really think those were important. Like even though I just go in and listen, like, wow, you're cool, you're a police officer, you're a pilot. But now I'm like, man, those are like, I'm so grateful that my school did those, because like they brought in people's parents that worked in different careers, and then they had a career fair at the end. So that was a great experience in junior high, because it kind of opened my eye, because there's actually a mechanical engineer. She showed up to the career fair and she was talking, I think she worked for Boeing, but she brought in like this big picture of her working on a jet engine. And ever since then I was like hooked, like, yeah, I think I for sure want to do engineering. But like I didn't know what field of engineering I wanted to do at that point. Then after that, I went on so after high school, I kind of figured out I wanted to do engineering, did some more research, and I kind of stumbled upon civil engineering. The reason why is I kind of talked with my dad. My dad's been in the construction industry for almost like 20 plus years now, I would say. And my mom also worked in the medical field She's, I think, a biology major. I think that's what her major is. My dad did I think my dad did a degree in technical sales or something like that. But his love is in construction, so that's kind of why I wanted to go down civil engineering path, because it was like engineering still, but then it also had like a mix of like work to do with construction, because they do a lot of, not all civil engineers, but like there's a lot of them that do project engineering for construction companies, or they'll do like anything you see, like building roads, things like that. That's what they do. And the reason I don't have a brief or a in-depth understanding of what they do is because I actually didn't go down that path. But like that's kind of where I got started. So civil engineering, that's like the major I wanted to do. After high school, then I took 2 years off, served a volunteer mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in New Zealand. While I was there, one of the couples I served with, senior couple, he actually was a civil engineer. We got talking. He went to school at Utah State. It's just interesting to hear his story. So that kind of solidified, like, man, I want to get into engineering, or at least civil engineering, I thought at that time, right? So I get back from my mission in New Zealand, which was a great experience. Loved it out there, loved the people. I wish I'd go back soon sometime. But came back, and I knew I wanted to still play football. That was like also a dream of mine growing up. And I also played football growing up, like my whole life. That's kind of like before I actually started thinking about a career. Football was like, if you've seen Mandalorian, it was like, this is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.
But yeah, football like was my life. So I came back and started playing football. I had a couple friends that played at a junior college here in California, so I ended up going to that junior college, Mount Sac. Shout out to you guys. That's where I got started in college. And there, they obviously didn't have civil engineering as a degree because it's a 2-year college, but they did have like an engineering path. And I was doing that as well as taking like classes for kinesiology. So I got my associate's degree in kinesiology. I guess the hope was to, when I transferred to a 4-year degree, that I would switch over to civil engineering, transfer in and become a civil engineering major. So while I'm doing that, I was, like I said, taking just general education classes. So like calculus, physics, chemistry, English, all of that stuff, all the stuff that like you got to take in your first 2 years, which in a sense, like now that if I go back, I'm like, man, I wish there was a way just to do like your classes without having to do all this. I mean, those are like, I will say all the English and like public speaking classes, those were great because those are beneficial. But there's some classes I'm like, man, I'm paying like all this money just to take these classes. Then again, I was on like grants and scholarships for football and stuff. But after those 2 years, I graduated my AA in kinesiology. For those that don't know what that is, sports science degree. I was hoping to, maybe if like engineering didn't work out, I was gonna go down like a sports science pathway, become like a assistant or athletic director, so AD. So it's different from AD in technology, because AD in technology is Active Directory, but AD in sports usually refers to like an athletic director. So anyways, yeah, playing football at this junior college, and then I got a couple football scholarships, so which was great because I was hoping to like transfer on that, because like again, remember, like football was my main primary goal at that time. And education, like I still want to do engineering and stuff. That was at the back of my mind. But when I finally decided on a school, it was the University of San Diego, which I'm grateful for them, coaches there, and opportunity to come and finish my education. So I transferred, and during this transfer, that was when the pandemic hit. So 2020 hit, and I'm thinking to myself like, man, what do I gotta do? So I was like still trying to figure it out. And unfortunately, when I transferred to University of San Diego, they didn't have civil engineering as a degree. So I kind of was like, all right, what am I going to do now? So like the next plan was going to be an electrical engineer, because that was also another major I was kind of looking into. And I guess I decided electrical engineering just because like it's just a great field. It kind of ties into some of the stuff, like the basics of engineering with civil engineering degree. They don't fall hand in hand together, but like I knew it was going to be a great degree nevertheless. So I opted in for that. But I didn't actually do that because in the first course actually, or the first semester, of taking electrical engineering classes, you have to take a basic introduction to Python for the curriculum that they run at University of San Diego, which I am so grateful for, because that introduction to Python course was like what set me off and got me into the tech industry. Like growing up, never thought I'd be in the tech industry. I always thought, like, when I see coders, it was cool, but I was like, man, I could never do something like that. That's too complex. Like, there's just things that come into your mind, but that's because maybe you haven't seen someone like yourself that's done this before. Or maybe people in your family just don't know anything. Not that they're not encouraging you to do something in tech industry, but they just don't know, like, what are the resources. So that's kind of where I'm sharing my journey, is because I want to share how I got into the tech industry. And there's that basic Python course. The reason I switched majors to computer science was because of that basic Python course. I noticed I was actually going to like the tutors more for computer science courses. I was spending more time on my computer science homework, which I was shocked, because like when I first got into it, I was like, man, this is like, I don't even know how I'm gonna do this homework. But like, I was just intrigued. The problem solving that went into programming, the debugging aspect of it, I feel like it's like a mystery that you're trying to solve. That's how I kind of think about it in my head. But yeah, that's kind of how I got started there into the tech industry, was that first basic Python course in my computer science program. Again, this isn't the traditional path you have to go through. I'm just sharing my journey. So that way, if you like parts of this journey that you could possibly use or take, or if you're trying to go down this route, at least you know my opinions and thoughts and experiences on it. Maybe it could help you either take a different path or follow this path. These are just resources that I'm throwing out and knowledge. But yeah, that basic Python course is how I got into the tech industry. And I've been so blessed because of it, because like all my jobs have required some aspect of Python programming. I've utilized it so much, and I've just fell in love with the tech industry. So that's it for this video. I will be getting into more videos, that's just the beginning. So today is just the beginning of this journey that I'm sharing with you guys. But yeah, that's kind of how I got into the tech industry, just my background. But yeah, I'll be coming out more videos on this tech journey, so follow along. Please, if you like this video, like, subscribe, turn that notification bell on, and try to roll out more of these episodes just so you guys can follow my journey. Malo apito, tuo fato, malo.